Welcome back. Like I said, we skipped 6.2. Gonna worry about 6.3. There's gonna be a lot of good practice here. We might talk about 6.4 very briefly, but we gotta make sure you get enough practice, most definitely. Okay, looking at 6.3, this is on your test. Now, this is not on the start, but this is on your next test. So make sure that you're analyzing every piece of what exactly is happening. So, Javier is determining the exact zeros for this function. His work is shown. Identify the error made when determining the zeros. So we actually have to know our multiplication, division, all that good stuff. Of course, let's see how his labeling was. A is 1, looks good. Negative 14 is B. 19 is C. So check mark, check mark. Next, to use the quadratic formula, I like to do little labeling. B, B, A, C, A. Looks good to me. I like that he left the negative in the front. There's a negative 14 in the parentheses. Make sure you see that part right there. B is right there, looks good. A is right there, looks terrific. Check mark on that third step. So he's rocking and rolling. Next step, negative times negative is a positive. That looks great to me. 2 times 1 on the bottom looks wonderful. I'm not sure negative 14 squared exactly what it is, so I am going to double check just because you never know. We all make mistakes. That doesn't look good. Oh, okay, it was 14. I was about to get scared for Mr. Javier for sure. For sure. Negative or positive 196. That looks good. And then that minus 76 came from 4 times 1 times 19. 76 looks terrific. So he's on a rampage. He's doing terrific. Keeping the 14, keeping the 2. 196 minus 76 is 120. Looks good to me. And here we go. From right here to right here. Be careful because he's finding our perfect square. I'm not going to really go into 100% detail, but in math, we do recognize that 4 is a perfect square of 2 times 2. So when that happens, this 2 times 2 turns into 2 on the outside, which is where that is. 30 does not have a perfect square, which is why it stays on the inside. So he went from here to here pretty good. But then, when he did this, that 2 was supposed to disappear. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I'd rather you just do the whole thing together so you can find out the information. Okay? So that was the error right there. Correct. Beautiful. If we determine the correct zeros for letter B, gonna copy what his information was. We got 14 plus or minus the square root of 2 over 30 with 2 in there. If we divided it correctly, it's 7 plus or minus the square root of 30. 7 plus the square root of 30. 7 minus the square root of 30. If you put that in the calculator, you should get, it's not giving me the answer, so let me type it in real nice and neat. 7 plus the square root of 30, 12.477. Copy it, change it to minus 1.522. Terrific. All right. Next 2 problems are practice. Obviously, I am going to do them very rapidly. So, most definitely pause the video, give yourself some practice so you can see how you do. Okay? Once you're finished practicing, of course, if you want to go over it with me, I'm right here. Gonna go a little fast. Of course, if you're practicing, you're doing a good job. I'll just do letter A just to save myself some time. A is negative 2. B is -3. C is 7. I do like to write out my whole formula just because it gives me fond memories. And when I say fond memories, it's because I love math. Right here, just make sure if you need to label all your parentheses, you do so. I'm not labeling it myself because, like I said, you want to practice this on your own. You want to practice this on your own for sure. Negative times negative stays positive, plus or minus, forgot my fraction. Square root of -3 to the power of 2 is 9. If I put this, it should turn plus 8, 56. Just to double check. -4, -2, and 7. I'm pretty sure it's 56. Yeah, plus 56. Obviously, if you wanted to put it all together, you could have. 2 times that is -4. Almost done. Move my paper real fast. Okay. 3 plus or minus 9 plus 56, 4, 5, 65 over this -4. And then you would go boom, boom, and you would get your answers. Now, of course, I'm pretty sure everybody can put this in the calculator correctly, so I'm not going to go over the specifics. But you definitely want to get to this part. The plus sign, the minus sign, make sure you're good to go. Cool. I love it. Very good stuff. I love this lesson. There's probably 1 or 2 questions on STAR test, but this is your next test next week. That's all over it. Okay. This is stuff from a different decade. 1 second. Okay. Let's find another era in Lorentz. Hopefully you've gotten pretty good. Don't forget that this is on your test. Make sure you watch it. This is 1, looks good. -7, -8. This is what you forgot right at the beginning. You needed some -3 on both sides, which would have changed that -8. Okay? Right from the get-go. What is it supposed to be on this side? It has to say equals 0. So she messed up at that very, very specific moment. Okay? Let's fix it real quick so you could practice it on your own. X squared minus 7x minus 8 equals 3 minus 3. I can't subtract 3 from one of these numbers. Not x squared because it doesn't have an x squared. Not x because it doesn't have an x. I can't subtract it from this 8 because it's another number. There's my 0. Looks wonderful. -8 minus 3. Let's double check because I know a lot of us hate negatives. -8 minus 3. -11. And I just bring everything else down. That's what I'll use instead. So right here in the beginning, right here where it says C, you would put -11. And then you work it out. Very cool. Honestly, I wouldn't know why they want you to sketch this. This is like the getting started. But just don't forget, we need a 0 on this side. So subtract, and then you would graph, and your graph would look something like this. Don't quote my accuracy, something like this. Yeah. Making sure that we can graph correctly. That's it. Making sure. Very, very, very wonderful. How much time we got? 10 minutes. Terrific. Again, some more practice. You have a decimal there, so be careful. I wouldn't worry about this vocabulary because it's not tested 100%, but some more practice. If we look at the following questions down below, reflect on the different quadratic equations you solved so far in this lesson. How many roots have they have? So far, 2. We've been getting 2 answers for everything. So we still need to talk about when it's only 1 answer or no answers. Okay. Of course, do you think a quadratic function could have no real roots? Yes. Not touching the x-axis. Could a quadratic function have more than 2 roots? No. Why not? Because it's a U-shape. So no matter what, it's only going to be touching at least 2 times. No more than 2. And that's it. Okay. I didn't realize I was writing all crooked. I apologize for that. Just excited. Okay. Next video, 6.4. And we're almost done.